Let's imagine that you got that deliverable. And Susie is desperate to tell you and show you her dog story on Facebook. Her dog has done this flip and you need to see it. She walks into your office. All you do, simply stand up. Imagine you're sitting at your computer screen. Typing away, you stand up. What do we do at the end of a meal? What do we do when we have guests over and we want them to leave? We stand up. It's a physical body language approach, and it allows the individual to say, okay, hey, I am not welcomed here anymore. Not in a bad way. You can have a smile. You can be tactful. Stand up. Let's say that Susie doesn't get the hint. Walk your way to the water cooler. Susie might walk with you. But hopefully Susie will recognize that you are going to go ahead and go back to your desk and get your work done. Maybe she doesn't get that. Then look at your phone. Look at your smartphone. Look at your iWatch. Look at something on your hand. Avert your eyes from that individual so that they're able to see, you know what? She is disengaging. She is not interested in me now. She is not available. Oh no, that doesn't work, because obviously this individual is talking about dog tricks during the day. They're not going to get these subtle body language hints. What do I do then? Practice one-liners at home. Pull something out of your back pocket like, I'm really slammed today, Susie. If it's about work, I'll make some time, but otherwise, I've got to get back to my work. Smile. A smile goes a long way. It's friendly, it's kind. But again, you're able to interact appropriately and set those necessary boundaries for Susie and for other colleagues in the workplace so that you are able to truly get what you want and need from them and still get the job done. And we can apply these concepts to the everyday world as well. Let's imagine we have neighbor Nancy. Neighbor Nancy, we might hope, would be our friend. We want to be chummy with neighbor Nancy. But neighbor Nancy may actually only be a friendly. We have to be courteous to neighbor Nancy. We need to make sure that if we've committed to bring our garbage can in on time, that we do. But we shouldn't feel sad or offended if neighbor Nancy doesn't wait. We might hope she would. But there's that emotional connection that if we are able to remove, we can actually live in a much more comfortable, happy way. We are no longer school children. We don't need to live with drama. We don't need to participate in gossip. And we definitely don't need to drain our brains with some of those instances. Let's focus instead on the colleague's actions. Let's focus instead on whether the colleague responds to an email, is participative in a meeting. Let's not worry about whether she smiles or if she's spreading gossip. Send all of those issues to HR. Send all of those issues to your boss. And spend your time on what really matters and what you're going to do, again, which is to work. So at this point, I'd like to open for questions. Do any of you have any questions that I can help answer with regard to colleagues, bosses, or subordinates?
How did you come about to write this book?
Thank you for asking. I was inspired by my grandmother, Muriel Solomon, who was a pioneer of her time. She graduated high school at the age of 16. She ran a syndicated column in the Miami Herald. She was able to give advice, and she actually taught me about removing emotion from different relationships and recognizing that different people have different purposes in life. So she inspired me to go into the field of industrial organizational psychology, which deals with helping employees and employers get along better and opening the lines of communication in general. And she actually wrote the original version of this book. It was such an honor when the book publisher agreed to allow me to revise and modernize the book, to incorporate newer issues and technology, topics that weren't prevalent 25 years ago, like narcissism and passive aggressiveness, the use of technology. How do we handle a boss who is looking at his cell phone instead of your eyes when you need to get his attention? It was a true honor to be able to do this for her and to help to promote her legacy.
What happens in a case when you do actually have some emotional connection with people, and it's, I think for a lot of people very difficult to kind of turn off their emotions in those cases? Are there techniques that you use to kind of separate emotion from?
It depends on the role. Obviously, certain roles require that emotional connection. And by the way, I am in no way insinuating that you shouldn't be empathetic or friendly or kind. I'm simply stating that we need to distinguish between work-related tasks and relationships. And so we do have to have boundaries. And so you need to draw those boundaries and set them so that they're clear. But let's say that you really want to hear that story, or you really want to participate in some dialogue that is outside of the realm of work, but you still feel it falls in what would be appropriate for work-related issues, then you can say, hey, I'm slammed now, but let's meet at 2. Or I'm free for lunch. I have a boss, Mike, many years ago, who was an ideal boss. And there was a time when I had a real difficult situation. And I came to the office, put a smile on my face, and pretended like everything was fine. But Mike knew me. He was my boss. So he came, I remember he stood and he put his arm in the doorway. He's like, hey, Aim, what is going on? Do you need lunch? And it was the morning, it was 8:30. So I said, yes, I can get through, thank you so much. And it was so touching that he cared enough to ask me how I was doing. He wanted to know what he could do for me so that I could be most productive in the workplace, and he wanted to extend that he did care about me at the other levels. That's great. There's just a tiny bit of support.
Your examples were for folks that are too friendly. What about the really rude, obnoxious, pushy folks that comes into your office and is demanding of your time, and you stand up, but
they still,
yeah.
Right. So we're going to have that. And we just literally need to avert our eyes, and we need to get back to work. And again, if you keep saying it over and over again enough times, they do get the hint. Sometimes if some people are very pushy and share information or critique your work when you didn't ask for it, a simple, thank you, I didn't ask for your opinion. On you go. It's not offensive if you do it with a smile. And if you practice saying it, it can really work. I actually taught that trick to my 10-year-old daughter, who's very sensitive. And she comes home and she says, oh yeah, guess what I said today? And it really works. It doesn't offend anyone, but it stops them dead in their tracks. You acknowledge their statements and move on. Well, thank you so much for your time. I really, really appreciate it. And of course, always feel free to reach out if I can